So there's a whole range of different consciousness that people pray to and in traditionally. Now, unfortunately, the church has come in and shifted a lot of that consciousness. So a lot of it has been pulled away from nature, and that's why we find today a lot of people have problems again with legs, with feet, with energies. And you saw in the Sangoma dancing that connection to the earth, the dancers, and the drum. The drum was considered to be the most important. The drum was called Ngoma. It wasn't called, nowadays people call it Isku because that's why it gets a name. But in traditional Zulu culture, it was called Ngoma. And that's where the Zulu, the Sangomas got their name from, the people of the drum, Sangoma, because they were the only people allowed to use a drum. The drum was not made of wood and, well, metal like it is now. And Zulus never made a wooden drum. The drum was made out of clay, and a skin was stretched over it, and each Sangoma had their drum. In that drum was ancestor spirits. They were the healing spirits that were called in to inhabit that drum. And so when people were sick, they'd call in the ancestors, the Sangomas, the drum would come in, and then they would start to drum. And the vibration would come up in that home. The healing energy will start to come into the home. The balance would come back into the home. And the connection to the earth would come back into the home. And if the drum activates your lower chakras, and your lower chakra is about survival. So when you are sick and you are struggling with being in this world, it activates that, it brings up the energy, the vibration of the person, and so the people went to a healing state. Once that Sangoma died, that drum was smashed, and these energies of that drum were allowed to go back into the earth again. And so there was again, that reciprocity between the Sangomas and the drum. And the drum was very important, and that's why it still is today very important in ceremony. But unfortunately, it's being used in other ways as well. But that's neither here nor there. But the drum was an integral part of Sangoma culture and the healing part of Sangoma culture. And as you go and you start the drumming start, you see the energy of that drum and the energy of those drummers, how it raises your energy and how it raises your vibration. Um, all right. In the ceremony, you saw um, different ways that people tended to communicate with their ancestors. The one guy, the Sangoma that was there, he was trained, I think, in Swaziland. His dances are different to what we do here. And you'll see his dances that he did was specifically to put himself into trance and to push your energy. So eventually you become to a point where you exhaust yourself, your actual ego pulls back. It allows the energy of spirit to come through, and often in that state you don't understand what you said. You're virtually pull yourself back, and your body becomes a channel for that energy of that spirit that's coming through to you. With him now, he started with the drumming and the ceremony. He started to be pressed, and when we say you're pressed, it means that your ancestors are wanting to talk to you. You'll feel it here. You'll feel you've got this heaviness on your shoulders. Not that you have a heaviness of how can I say, of problems on your shoulders. It's the heaviness of your ancestors saying, we want to talk to you. And we talk about, you work with a T-bar. Yeah. So Nancy as well works with a T-bar, and a lot of cultures as well. It comes through here. So you have a T-bar which you connect with, and that is why they focus on this part of your body, because they want you to listen to what they're saying and to communicate with them. And so that is one way, is they are taught to go into trance. And that is how they communicate with their ancestors. The way I was taught is that, again, it is dancing, but you dance and you push yourself to a point where your ego lets go. And you become so tired you can't control your ego anymore. And your ego can't control you anymore. Your ego can't control you anymore. And your mind just gets into a point where you start to release yourself to talk to your ancestors. Some people, it begins before that. they'll start to be pressed, they'll start to feel things, and ancestors will start talking to them, they'll start to have dreams. And there's many ways of knowing that you have a calling to become a Sangoma. Some people get very sick, and the only way they can heal themselves is by connecting to the ancestral spirit and allowing themselves to be healed through the ancestors. And then they say your Sangoma training is to heal yourself. And you can't heal anybody else and help anybody to heal if you cannot heal yourself. So it's important that you go through that whole healing process to be able to heal yourself. And so we talk about Indigi and Endow. We talked about Indigi just now, the red energy. The red energy is more masculine energy. That energy comes up and it creates that fire within you. And that fire within you can go overboard to the sense that it creates addictions. It creates a lot of violence. Sometimes violence against other people, women and children. And you find a lot of men have a very high Indigi. And so to bring that back into balance. So often it creates fears. A lot of fears come up and you become fearful. And then all people can have too much Endow and they could go into depression and not be connected to the earth. So there are different ways that people can say that you have a calling to be a Sangoma. But at the end of the day, when people have problems and if nothing works out and everything is like hitting a brick wall, then they'll go to a Sangoma and find out what's the problem. And often then it might be identified as you have a calling. Sometimes the calling is just to heal yourself. And so you find a lot of Sangomas don't actually become active Sangomas in the sense that they don't tell fortunes, or they don't do readings, they don't work with medicine, but they are still connected to their ancestors in the sense that their ancestors help them to heal. But they don't take it further than that. They actively practice the Sangoma. The reason to go into training was to train to heal yourself. That was it. Others will go in there and they will be trained to protect houses against lightning. Others will go and they will be trained to maybe just do readings. Others will mix medicines and readings. And so each one has their own niche that they fill and they work with. Makhosi CJs tend to follow everything. They follow both paths, but of healing, like an Inyanga and a herbalist, as well as being Sangoma. But others will sometimes just be Sangomas and they'll just do readings, and that's as far as they'll go. And then they'll refer you to somebody else for medicine. So each person has their own path. But to be able to open yourself up to your ancestors, generally we will take medicines, will help as well. So to raise the vibration of your body, to open yourself up to listening to what you need to listen to, and to focus on working with your ancestors. And to try to find the difference between the ego and your ancestors talking. And so as you cleanse your body more and more, and as you purify your body more with medicines, and a lot of it is medicine, you find that then people start to open themselves up to detoxing their bodies, and then it makes it easier for the ancestors to come through and to start to give you messages. And then they will test you. They'll take a coin and they'll hide it away. And then you must now, okay, talk to your ancestors, where's the coin? And then you've got to listen to your ancestors and open yourself up, and you start to then hear what your ancestors are telling you. You start to then understand what your ancestors are telling you and when they are talking to you, and to trust when they are talking to you, and trust when that information comes through, and eventually you start to distinguish between ancestors talking and your own ego talking, and you differentiate between the two, and you start to understand them. And then you'll get processes that you do that specifically close out anything else, and you still focus on those ancestors. You know everything that comes through them is just what the ancestors are telling you.